Okay, yeah, we're going to walk through some JavaScript fundamentals, especially arrays and objects. So to this point, variables, you guys should have that kind of thing down, some basic syntax, but if you have questions about it, we can talk about it as we go. So we're going to start with this assignment of creating objects. They gave us a list of things here that they want objects made out of. We don't have to overcomplicate this. This isn't going to be an array of objects. They gave us an example of exactly what it looks like. And so we're just going to transfer this information into new objects. Anyone have a starting point where they want to, how they want to do this?
So we're just making a brand new.
Yeah, go ahead.
We're just making a brand new object, right? That's all we're doing, right?
Yeah, cool. So an object is this part, right? Like,
yeah.
So we don't want that just floating out there. So we should probably put it in something, right?
Yeah, like const equals.
Perfect. And we'll just use their names. Let's see. And that'll make it, this will make it super obvious. Like good naming conventions are gold because like later on, it's going to tell us like, you know, get Mitzi's name. And so to start, like, oh, our object Mitzi, sure. Now how do I get her name, right? So naming convention helps. So yeah, let's actually just copy this because we're actually going to follow this model exactly and just change the name of the const, right? So we have 5 things. There's 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we'll do Mitzi and, oh, that's annoying. Can't read all their names. Keenan and
sorry, just a quick question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I nested all of my objects into an array.
Sure.
Is that not good or? No,
that's a great way to do it. Yeah, it's more than what this assignment's asking for, but you'll see actually in the next array assignment, that's exactly what they're going to do.
Okay.
So that's why we're starting with objects because we're going to move on to an array of objects next. Sorry, one second. And the last one was Antoinette, the hardest name to spell in the world. And oh, that's not even her name. How do you pronounce that?
Antonetta?
Yeah, all right. Oh, we need the guts of this object to go in that one. Cool. And then they all have IDs, and they were nice enough to just order them for us. So Mitzi will be 1, Kevin 2, Kevin 3, Danny 4, and Antonetta 5. And then they all have their name. So we'll just copy this part. And then make it a capital. So hopefully nobody is struggling too much with what we're doing right now, right? Everyone's on board?
Yeah.
There was definitely an easier way to do this. I should have just copied the information they had above and then done this. Oh well. Okay. And then they have emails. Oops, that was the wrong person. That was Mitzi's email. G. Martinson. And last one. Oh, I didn't get all of the G. Martinson one. Let me do that again. And then last thing was their genders: female, male, 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 female, female, male, 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 and female. All right, cool. So I think we accomplished challenge 1, right? We created the 5 objects of these employees. So great. Let's go on to challenge 2. Once your objects are created, log out the following request from HR into the console. All right. So they want Mitzi's name. They're telling me that they want Mitzi's name, so they know Mitzi's name, which is weird. But obviously we're talking about an object. So out of Mitzi, we need to get her name. How are we going to do that?
We can use the dot notation and do dot name.
That's perfect.
And then put in a console log.
Yep. And that's all they said to do, right, was just log it out. So I saved that, and we got Mitzi right there. Yeah, we did that. There's another way too. How else can we get Mitzi's name?
Couldn't you just do a notation?
Brackets.
Brackets on it.
Perfect.
Yeah. Brackets,
Yes.
name.
That's exactly right. We can do Mitzi name. And oh, it's undefined. Maybe we can't do that.
Quotes.
What was that? Oh, and quotes. That's what it is. Exactly. Thank you. I always forget little things like that. Yeah, perfect. I think Kieran noted it in the lecture, but you were going to see the dot notation more often than not. Yep. Cool. Now they want Keenan's ID, so it's going to be more of the same. Console.log.
Keenan.id.
Keenan.id. Yep. And then of course we know we could also do the bracket notation. All right. Oh. Keep it going. We want the email now.
So you'll just do the name dot email.
Okay, perfect. So for this next one, since we already did name, I'm going to ask it slightly different. If I wanted to do it inside of these backticks, how do I get Ganny's name? Like if I wanted this to say like Ganny's name, now how do I put it there?
$sign and then curly
Right.
brackets.
Perfect. And it's exactly the same, right?
Yeah.
Ganny.name. Yep. There's one more alternative solution to that. Let's make sure that worked. Yep, Ganny's name, Ganny. With a console log, you can also just put a comma after the quotes and put like a second thing in here. And then, of course, this is all interchangeable with the square brackets as well. Cool.
Yeah. Now, could you do a plus sign too, or?
Yeah. So I'll be honest, I'm not 100% sure, but I think so. Let's try it. In other languages, I know you can. Yeah. So the plus sign works here too. Yeah, I don't see that one very often though. Oh yeah, of course you can plus strings. That makes sense. Yeah, yeah. Cool. Let's comment those out and just do it exactly how they want it though for the assignment. Which was Ganny dot name. And I know that this is really uninteresting right now. We're just getting through these objects, but obviously the hard part of the assignment is going to be in the array section. Antonietta.gender. Cool. We could actually do something kind of fun with this, and like if it's F, can you return me the name female? And if it's M, can you tell me male? So there's stuff like that you can do. We won't get into it right now because I want to make sure we finish the project, but that might be something we come back and mess with when we're done. I think you guys can already start turning the wheels though and figuring that out with an if statement. All right, give Keenan the ability to say hello. My name is Keenan. Use the console.log provided as a hint. Oh, all right. How are we going to do this one?
Add a function, right?
We're going to add a function. Okay.
Use an arrow function also.
Yeah. Yep, we could do that too. So it looks like we're using dot notation to call a function, right? To call speak. That doesn't exist right now, right?
Right.
So, I mean, we could go up here and add it, right? That's one way to do it. But let's, maybe that is how they want you to do it. I think, does everyone get that? Like how we could implement that?
That's the way I do it.
Yeah, let's walk through it that way. Who was it, Keenan? I think it was Keenan. Yeah, Keenan speak. Okay. Let's do it that way first. And then I'll show you how to do it down there in the code. So speak is going to be a function. And it's going to say this dot name, right? So this is important here. Speak is inside of a console log, right? And so we don't want to console log this because this, how do I explain this? If we console logged inside of speak, like instead of return this dot name, if I did console log this dot name, console log always returns an error. Like it will log what's inside of it, but then return an error. You get what I'm saying? So that wouldn't work. So we actually have to return the value we want. And by putting that value in console.log, then it should say the name, Keenan. So if I try to do, let's just do it so that way, you guys can't call me a liar later. If I do console.log, this I'm pretty sure will say undefined. Oh, he says Keenan, and then he says, oh, because it is logging, it's doing what it's supposed to do. I'm going to log like you told me. But so this console log is this line right here. And this console log is this line right here. You see, it actually tells you over here, 78 and 31.
So Joe?
Yeah.
Every function inherently returns undefined unless you return a value, which is why it's console logging undefined.
Yeah. Console log itself, though, the return value of console log is undefined.
That's interesting. I didn't know there was a return value for that function.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, that was a very good point, though. He is right in what he said. And then somebody mentioned an arrow function. Let's not get into that one just yet because this doesn't work the same. So we'll just leave it at this for now, and then we'll tackle it later on when we get to our function conversions. Okay. Yeah, so we made Keenan speak work. Oh yeah, and then I told you guys, let's make examples say their name, right? So the way you would do that is you would do example.prototype speak equals function, and it's the exact same thing. And then you put this dot name. So I realize you guys haven't done the prototype yet. We're gonna get to that. Just thought I'd show you real quick. Console.log example.speak. Uh-oh. Cannot read property undefined. Maybe you don't need prototype. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, there you go. That's an example. So you see how I was able to, even though speak doesn't exist, I made it exist by saying equals and then told it what function it's going to be. So that's something else that you can do with objects. It wasn't as complicated as I thought. You didn't need the prototype. But that's how you add a function to an object after the fact.
And Joe, I think they're asking for the name to come back as part of a sentence in Speak.
Hello,
You
my
just
name
have
is.
to add that in either down there or in the object.
Yeah, that's a good point too. We could do it in either place. Yeah, I like that. Let's just put it in the function itself to keep the code down there cleaner. Return, and then same thing as before. We're going to use the backticks, the $, the curly brace. Hello, my name is that what it was? Keenan. Oh, comma and an exclamation. Not that I don't think anyone's going to fail for missing those, but
I have a problem. When I write this speak in there and then make it into a function, I have a red line underneath speak, and I'm not sure why.
Do you have a comma after gender?
Probably not.
Oh.
Yeah, that one will get you. Yeah, because there was nothing. Usually when you're writing code, you could just throw those commas anyways. That way that kind of thing doesn't happen. But obviously we inherited this code. But yeah, I tend to leave that just for those instances.
Yo, Joe, question.
Uh-huh.
You're using single quotation.
Here?
It's not necessary. Yeah. Is there any difference?
I'm using backticks.
Backticks. Okay.
Yeah,
backticks. I use quotation and it worked. Is there a preference? Is there
Quotations works?
Yeah.
So string interpolation does not work with quotes. Did you use like a plus and then put this after?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's why. Yeah, you can do it that way too. That's perfectly acceptable.
So this way that you're doing it with how do you call it? With the $?
It's called string interpolation. So you did it like this, right? Oh,
exactly.
Yeah, which totally works too. Yep. Oh, I forgot a space.
Don't they call them string literal templates or something to that effect?
That might.
If he was to Google it,
that might be the JavaScript term. Yeah. What was it?
String literal templates, I think is what they were called.
Templates, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So my background is object-oriented programming. Like I learned Ruby first, and it's called string interpolation there. And I think some other languages call it that, like C-based languages call it string interpolation. So that's where I got that from. Sorry, but you're probably right. That sounds right. Cool. So I probably should have. Let's put both, because I'm gonna post this as solution code for you guys to have. So I'll comment in here how we did it with the literal template. Yeah, with the literal templates though, that was a good note. You do have to use the backticks. That's the only way that works. Some people actually. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask, is there ever a point in time where you have to choose one over the other?
No, yeah. Some people, when they write JavaScript, exclusively use backticks.
Once I found that existed, that's what I used forever. It's so good.
Yeah, in case you ever just have to run back.
This gives you that added functionality of the like string interpolation, right? So it only really adds stuff using the backticks versus quotation.
Exactly. Yeah, and then like.
What was that? What was that advantage of using?
It only adds the functionality to be able to put the $ and curly braces in. Like there's no negatives to using the backtick as opposed to quotes. Okay. And then the other thing is like if you're writing a string that requires quotes, you know what I'm saying? Like you wanted to say like quote unquote, you have to escape those inside it if you try to put those inside of a string. Have you guys seen escapes before?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and so like obviously you don't have to do that with the backticks. Like you would do it like. If I was going to say it's, right, oops, I have to escape that apostrophe like that.
Right.
I could just write it like this too. Not like that. Like that. And now we're on to her multiplying nums, right?
Well, one quick question, if you don't mind. You were going to show how you can also do that, accomplish that same thing, but right here in console log.
Oh yeah. So I did. I'll put it back in as a comment. That way you guys can look at that. Basically, all you do is you set it up here and you make it equal to, and it's the exact same thing. Function.
Oh, what we did. Okay.
Yeah. I'm just gonna put this dot name. You guys can figure out to put the string in there. But yeah, that's how you would do it that way.
I have an error on my console log.
Okay. What does it say?
Uncaught reference error. Guinea not defined.
Who's not defined?
Guinea.
There might be a misspelling either between here or when you try to use it. You want me to look at your screen real quick?
Sure.
All right. Go ahead. So you got Gnnie, Gnnie, and then scroll down. Oh, well, okay. Let me walk you through this actually a little bit better. Go to your console, or go to the console where the error is. And then it says Kevin is not defined. And that's happening on line 65.
That's crazy. It just said Guinea, now it says Kevin.
So let's see, line 65, you got Kevin.email.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There you go. Yep, and that's where I'm at right now. Perfect. And then we're going to fix that error together.
All right, I can stop sharing.
Oh, I got
Thank you.
Uh-huh. Oh, I'm sharing the wrong screen. Sorry. Is that the right one? Yeah. Okay, we're back in business. Cool. Where are we at? We're on multiply nums. So same thing, we could do it here, but just for the sake of this assignment, let's go ahead and put it in our object. So however you pronounce her name wants to multiply numbers. So multiply nums. Let's do it. What was the function called? Oh,
Multiply noms, I think.
Yeah, cool. And then that's the name of it, and it is a function. So this function, they passed us two numbers, right? Remember when they actually called it? So how do I tell my new function to take in those two numbers?
You probably want to go into the function and then put two parameters in there.
Yeah, right here in the parentheses, right?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Like num1, num2.
Yeah, cool. So something like this, I like to use letters. So we'll just do x, y. But yeah, num1, num2, that's fine too. The thing with num1, num2 is, to me, whenever I see a programmer use that, I immediately am like, why are you not using an array, right? But like x, y, like that separates them more in my mind. Cool. And then what do I do next?
You want to return.
Want to return, perfect.
And then do x multiply y.
Perfect.
And then semicolon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's check that out. 12. And the numbers they give us are 3 and 4, which is 12. Yeah, so we did a couple things here. We created a method on Antonietta, and that method is a function that takes in 2 arguments, and we return some arithmetic done with those 2 arguments, right? And there's really not anything else we have to do. The only other note I would say is think about what you're returning. So like here we're returning a number, right? So if for some reason you wanted a string, you would just have to be aware of that. Like you always got to be aware of what you're returning. So console.log will return you a number or a string or whatever you want, object, array. But if you were using this for some other purpose, like, I don't know what, like you were trying to do, I think most instances JavaScript handles that well. Like if you're trying to add a number to a string, it's like, oh, you want that to be a string too. I get it. But it doesn't always work the other way around. Like if you're trying to divide by a string, it'll say like, hey, what the heck are you doing? So just be aware of that. Stretch challenge is nested objects. I'll probably do this real quick. Create a parent object with properties for name and age. And the name's going to be Susan. Age is going to be 70. Name, Susan, age, 70. All right. Next step is nest a child object in the parent object with name and age as well. The name will be George and the age will be 50. How should we do that? No?
Are you just going to put it in the same line?
Yeah, you could. So that's what I was just going to say now. We could do like child, right?
Yeah, I'll have to propose that, set that up as child and set that as the start of name inside child. So name, colon, what was it, George?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, George. Yeah, totally.
And remember your commas.
Oh, yeah, I missed it. Dang it. Perfect. Yeah, I mean, an object doesn't care if we're storing a string, a number, or another object, right? So yeah, that works out really good. Now, nest a grandchild object in the child object with properties for name and age. Name will be Sam, age will be 30. So we're going to do the same thing. We could actually call it child again, but I think this assignment will be made easier if we actually call it grandchild.
Wait, how can we get away with calling it child again?
So that has to do with scoping. So if I called parent, right, dot child, it wouldn't get confused between this child and this child because this child doesn't actually exist like in parent. If I call parent.child, all that there is to choose from is name, age, and child. And so then if I name this child and I wanted to get into this, right now I'm on this child. So my options are name, age, and child. Okay, you want this one? So then all you would do is dot child.
So you don't actually put a curly bracket around child, the second child? Or?
No, you can just keep calling dots. Yeah, you can call dots all day as long as they're nested.
And nesteds are infinite?
As far as I know, I haven't hit a limit on them. At some point, you probably, like, if you're nesting them too deep, you might be doing something wrong. I will say that I had a build week where I was doing workouts. And so the way we had it set up was we had a user object. The user object had a workout object. The workout object had an exercise object. The exercise had reps or sets, and then the sets had reps. So that was like 5 deep. So that was pretty confusing. But anyways, let's keep going. So child's
I was
got.
on the project with Joe, and that was terrible.
What was that?
I was in that project with Joe, and that was terrible.
Oh yeah, I didn't see you were in here. Thanks, Timothy. Yeah, I mean it was horrible for other reasons, but it was just hard to keep track of all the data too. So age 30. Cool. And then I might have jumped ahead a little bit by showing you that. So I actually took away the grandchild just to like show how we're going to do this. So let's log the parent object's name. How are we going to do that?
Just going to do console.log and then parent.name.
Perfect. Yep. And then Unexpected identifier line 106. What don't you like? Oh, I forgot my comma again. Thanks. Yeah.
Nice. For setting up the objects, the fourth one also has like wants us to put a function in the objects. The fourth like bullet point of if you go up before the objects.
Before the objects?
Before right there.
Give each the ability to speak their names. Oh, using this keyword. Okay, sorry about that.
No worries.
This dot name. I'm actually not 100% sure that that's going to work like that. So that's going to be fun. We'll get to it when we get to it. And so log the parent's name. We should actually use the parent.speak probably. Log the child's age. So we got to get one deeper. What's it going to look like?
Parent.child.speak.
They want the age in this case.
Oh, age. So dot age.
Yeah, I could tell you got it though. Yeah, perfect.
And in that last one, why are we making it speak the name?
I'm sorry?
We're in the previous one, log the parent object. Why?
We could have done it either way. We could have done name or speak. Oh, actually, dang it. I forgot to put return. There we go. Susan. Yeah, we definitely could have done it either way. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
We have a function that does it, so I'm using it, but we definitely could have just put name. And that's actually how I had it at first too. Let me put that in a comment just so that way we know. All right, log the name and age of the grandchild.
So it would be just parent.child.child dot speak, then I guess dot age. Or no?
So the way that dots work, if I put dot age, it would be looking at this thing called speak and then looking for age in that. So since it wants a second thing, we actually have to just write it all out again. Parent.child. So one way to get around that would be to just come here and do like const child equals parent.child. And then we could do const grandchild equals, and this is actually kind of funny, we could do child.child, or we could, I'm going to comment one of these out, but we could do grandchild equals parent.child.child. So either one of those would work. And then when we go to use it, we can actually just call child. We don't have to call parent.child because now it's its own thing. And then instead of all this mess, we can just call grandchild. Did everyone get that? Did everyone get on that? Let's make sure it works before I start fielding questions about it. Yeah, there it is.
There's a error in my console log again.
Okay, what do you got?
Hold on. I have uncaught syntax error, unexpected identifier.
I got that one too. It was a missing comma. So check this mess of objects here and make sure you have commas after everything. See any red squigglies in there?
Yeah, I see one after. There's one after child and grandchild, so I guess I nested it wrong.
Possibly. Let's take a look.
Okay.
So it looks like you're nested correctly, but you are missing a comma at the end of line 95 and 99, and then 103 is okay, actually.
Oh, I didn't know I was supposed to put commas after that. Okay.
Yeah, and then you're going to want to actually tab in grandchild to kind of get these levels right. Yeah, tab that one in one time, and then tab in the 3 things under it. Yep, perfect. And so now when you look at these, the way it's tabbed, you can see name, age, speak, and child all belong to parent, and then that child has a name, age, speak, and grandchild, and then the grandchild has a name, age, and speak. And you can just tell that by the tabbing. So keeping it organized is going to help.
Okay.
All right, no problem. Ah, wrong monitor again. All right. Have the parent speak. So now that it's doing that, I think the way the assignment actually wants it is for speak to console log, not return. Does that make sense? Anyone disagree? Like, so I think this was the right way.
Wait.
I'm gonna want this out of there.
So that way, when we run the function, it'll log to the console. Like we don't have to actually. Okay.
That's exactly right.
Makes sense.
So remember I was talking about prototype earlier too. You guys could probably tell like this looks terrible, right? Like notice we're repeating name, age, and the same exact function to all of them, right? Later on, you'll actually, instead of like calling this parent, you'll call this a person, and then each person you'll be able to make like unique persons, and so we won't be repeating the code. And that's what that dot prototype was that I was talking about earlier. You would add dot prototype to the person, and then everyone else would have access to it. So that's a little advanced for right now, but I just want to let you know, like if you're looking at this right now, like, dang, we're writing the same thing over and over. Like, yeah, you are, and that's not right. So.
So would you do like parent dot prototype, and then like it would add an object into parent? Is that how?
Yeah. So it'd be a little more complex than that. You would take both children out, and then, like I said, I would call it person because the grandchild's technically not a parent. And then you'd create 3 new parents: one Susan, one George, one Sam, and then they would all have a child that could be null, like the grandchild's would be null, but then everyone else's would be linked to the other variables. Yeah, I could talk more about that afterwards, but I just wanted to bring that up in case you guys, anyone's dry alarms were going off.
Parent name is not function.
All right. All right, so I made some changes. So if anyone's typing along, you can go ahead and catch up. I changed these returns to console logs. We took anywhere where we use .speak, we took it out of a console log because that's what it's going to do on its own. And that's it. So we should be caught up. So have the parent speak. And there we go. Let's see. I'm losing track of where I'm at. Grandchild is Sam. There's Sam. He's 30. And we had the parent speak, who's Susan. That's perfect.
Could you go back over the speak function again? I don't quite get it yet.
Why we did console log instead of return?
Yeah. So like right now I have, so I have the returns still in there. Console log dot this dot name.
Yeah. So if you like we were talking about earlier, right? If I console log this dot speak, okay, the way it's written on my screen right now, like as a console log, it would literally take this dot speak out and replace it with console.log. This dot name is Susan, right? And so this piece right here would run, and it would print Susan. But then this console log also has to run. And this piece as a whole, even though it prints Susan, it returns undefined. And so we would get Susan undefined and run console log twice, basically. So the way we got around that earlier was we did return, which instead of the console log, like on line 109, instead of console log, we had return. And so it just put in Susan for us. And so then all it did was print Susan. That's what return did. But now we want to take it outside of this console log. We don't want to use console log out here anymore. So that's why we have it in here. And so when I call this dot speak, what that is doing is it's literally turning into console.log this. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's the difference between like return and console log. Cool. And then we have the child speak. So we'll do child.speak. George. And the child.speak only works, remember, because we did it like this, where we saved parent.child into child. Like we could also, if we didn't do that, we would have to do parent.child.speak. And it should
my parent and my child aren't speaking on my console.
Okay. Did you change from returns to console logs?
You don't have those console logs. It just says parent.speak.
Yeah, right here.
Parentheses and child.speak parentheses, and it's not coming up.
You're talking about these right here, right? Parent.speak, child.speak?
Yes.
So now up here in the function, you have console.log?
Yes, and I have the return this dot name.
Okay, it shouldn't be returning anymore. Let me take a look. Yeah, that's what me and Steven were just talking about. We used the return when we were putting it inside of a console log, but now that we're not, we want the function actually console.log.
So we take this part off, the return this dot name.
Yeah, so delete return and replace it with console.log, this dot name. And then make sure that it's still in curly braces too, because it's a function. Yeah. Before the comma. Yep. And just do that to all of them, and you should be back in business.
Okay, thanks.
Uh-huh. All right, where are we at? And then have grandchild speak. Grandchild.speak. Oh man, I haven't been using semicolons and nobody said anything.
Do you have to use semicolons, sir?
No, but it is good practice.
Sorry, Joe. I was going to mention that at the beginning, and then I thought, well, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, semicolons. I actually haven't been in the habit of writing semicolons, and then I ran into this issue today, actually, working in React, and it threw a fit about a semicolon. I was using a ternary operator, and it didn't have a semicolon before it or something like that, and it didn't like that.
Interesting. Yeah. I got in the habit of semicolons a long time ago, but I think React requires them, doesn't it?
No. All ES6 no longer requires them.
Interesting.
In fact, there's actually cases where you can't use them. So like we were talking about arrow functions earlier. Mm-hmm. So if you do an arrow function like this, you know, you can do whatever you want in here. I almost called it var. You can't do that. And put a semicolon. But if you write it like this, you cannot put a semicolon in here. And that's because like this, you do return, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say it. It's a.
Oops. And you can like do other stuff in here, like make the variable.
Bonus points to whoever says what kind of return the two different ones are.
Ooh, I didn't even know that they were different.
What fun.
This expects though just one line was what I was gonna say. I didn't know the returns were different, Don.
So if you're not using braces, it's an implicit return.
That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah,
implicit. Yeah. Very
So
good.
yeah, the returns are actually different, but like we name them differently because they're coming at us. Yeah, okay. I thought there was the actual difference.
And also, even though like when you get into React, you can have an implicit return with multiple lines of JSX.
You can have an implicit return with multiple lines of JSX?
Doesn't it just resolve to a single line anyway? Like a single statement? That's kind of the point, right?
Question, one more before we move on. My grandchild is not defined, and it's probably a little small error, but
Did you do so there's two ways to call a grandchild. You either call parent.child.child.speak.
yeah, I tried that too, and it's still coming back as undefined.
Okay.
Well, I tried parent.child.grandchild, and I tried grandchild.speak.
Let me see what you got. Yeah, grandchild.speak. Yeah, so that's not going to work because the way I was making that work is I made a new variable called const grandchild, like on line 108. And then you're going to make that equal to, and it's going to be parent.child.grandchild. Yeah, save that and see if it works. And all we're doing by doing that is keeping us from having to write parent.child.grandchild every time.
Yes, it works. Thanks.
Okay.
One other thing.
Yeah.
Since we're moving on to arrays, I have the whole, all the objects are inside of an array. So if you want to call, say like one of these functions or anything inside of an array, what would you do differently? Because like I can't run it. I have to actually separate these out of the array if I want to do what you just did, for example.
So if you wanted, you could totally do like inventory. I think that's the name of this array. And if you wanted the first element and you wanted to know the make, you could do it like that.
Right. What about a layer deeper?
So like if it was, if one of the, I mean, you can keep going. So like, let's say, I don't know how to get a good example of this.
What's the example he's asking for, Joe?
To go deeper beyond having like car make.
Well, let's say you want all the car makes for the whole inventory.
A filter for that.
Yeah, that's going to be a little different. Yeah, it's not going to be a single call just like this.
Actually, it would be.
One-liner.
Is he just wanting all the car makes that are in the array and no duplicates?
He want. I'm not sure what the assignment asked for. Yeah, it asked for BMWs and Audis.
Yeah. That you're going to want to use I think want to say filter.
You can one-line that filter.
Yeah. We're going to not use ES6 methods in this, so we're not going to use dot filter. Like we're going to make our own. But yeah, dot filter.
But that makes it so nice.
Yeah, you definitely
Joe,
want
why you had to be hard on them?
I know.
It's going to be hard if you're using dot filter and you don't know how it's working. I'll tell you that.
Fact. That took me a long time to understand. Probably longer than it should have.
Okay, let's go ahead and knock this one out right here. This should be real easy after all that object work we did. So car 33, let's not overcomplicate this. Let's go look for car 33. This array starts with ID 1. We know indexes start with 0. So it's 1 ahead. You get what I'm saying? Like if I want ID 1, it's going to be inventory 0. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if I want ID 3, it's going to be inventory, or I'm sorry, 33, it's going to be inventory 32. Perfect. Asia, do you remember how we put something in the string like this? Had that special character syntax.
Is it a $sign?
Perfect. Yeah, $sign and then
You have to frame that in backticks.
curly braces. Yeah, and we also have to, I thought it was, but yes, we also have to put it in backticks. Thank you. Good catch.
Oh, I thought we were doing loops for all of them.
We could loop through and then find the proper ID, but we're for this first one, we're just gonna do it this way.
Oh, okay.
Why are my backticks working?
Well, you don't have a value in that.
Is that why? It just hasn't changed color because there's no value?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. The value itself is a different color. Got it. Yeah, so 32, you said. Perfect. And they wanted the year here, right? So we all know how we're going to do that. Car year. And I'm not going to bore you with more of the same because I did that on the last part. So we'll just do some copy paste in here. Yeah, we totally could filter this and find like the find car with the ID of 33, but they're gonna ask for that later, like something similar. So we'll just keep this one simple and do that.
Yeah, I did a for loop with a if statement in it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So after inventory, is that because I'm like super blind? Is that a dot or is that a comma?
Oh, this one right here?
Yeah.
That's a dot. Yeah, we're using dot notation. So this is grabbing the object, and then out of the object, we're doing dot car year to get the year. So car 33 is a 2011 Jeep. Jeep 2011. Oops. Nobody caught that either? You guys are just leaving me out to dry. Car model.
I would say that Tim's method of finding the ID that way is going to be more accurate, though, because that ID could change on you and you'd never know it.
Definitely, 100%. And they could be out of order.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, now in this case, right, this is going to be number 49 and this is going to be number 48, and the IDs are way off. So, yeah, totally. I agree 100%. But just for the sake of the assignment, like I said, we're definitely going to get to that, but we're progressing, I guess. All right. Dealer needs information on the last car in their inventory. So now we're going to get a little more dynamic. They didn't give us a number. They just said the last car. What is the make and model of the last car in the inventory? And then log it. So let's do our log first. They're going to want last car. Oh. Last car dot car make. And then they also want the model, right? So let's do this. How do I get the last car? How do I get a car? Let's start with that.
Inventory.
How would I? Yeah, inventory. Perfect. And then a square bracket notation, right?
49.
49 is the last car, but we're gonna try to be a little more dynamic here and just grab the last one.
When you want to do a length -1.
That's perfect. Yeah. So we're gonna do inventory.length, which will give us however many cars there are, but it doesn't account for the 0 index. That's why we need to -1.
That's so weird. It looks like my thing is commaed out, but there's no comma thing there. I meant not comma, like comment. It looks like it's commented out.
Like the color of it?
Yes. Yeah.
Let me see.
Check for an extra backtick. I can do it.
An extra backtick?
Yeah, it could comment
Yeah,
on
there's no big.
if you.
Can you share your screen?
Oh, I think I'm missing a backtick.
Right.
Drinking moonshine, Joe?
Okay, I was missing the backtick. Okay, thanks
Uh-huh.
for that.
What was that?
I said, you drinking moonshine? Mason jar?
The big old mason jar, yeah.
I'm from West Virginia, man. I'm used to that.
Cool. So we got the Lincoln Town Car, and is that indeed the last one? Let's double check before we move on. Yeah, Lincoln Town Car. Nailed it. Cool, guys.
So, just a quick question: what's the what's the drawback from setting last car to inventory 49, then console.logging last car dot car make plus the comma, then plus last car dot car model?
So just the flexibility of it.
Okay.
So, yeah, you could totally do that. That's actually, so this evaluates to the number 49. So like, if we did that, we would get the same exact answer. But we're just trying to progress in difficulty here. So now we're taking into account, yeah, this is the last car now, but what happens when they buy a new car and it gets put on the back here? You know, he didn't say he wanted the last current car. He wants the last car.
They sold that car.
So if they had like 55, then we don't have to make any adjustments to that specific function. Okay, got it.
Yeah, like for mine, I actually added one extra car to the list just to pull that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good idea to try to mess with your data and make sure that your code's still working. The marketing team wants the car models listed alphabetically on the website. So sort all the car models into alphabetical order and log the results in the console. So we might cheat and use an ES6 because I don't feel like writing out a whole sort method with you guys. ES6 does provide us with a array.sort. Let me pull it up. This is what you guys should be doing all the time, like JavaScript array sort. Like that's what they want me to do, right? So let me check it out. Oh, MDN, that's where you want to go. Array.sort. Oh, there's a method called .sort. Let's see what it does. So it takes these things, months, January, and then it sorts them, and it looks like it does it alphabetically. Most time, like when you compare strings, if you do like greater than or less than, it will do that based on their position in the alphabet. So that's how sort works. All right, cool. We're going to use that. So the first thing we got to do is actually get all the car models that are currently in this list. So we're going to do a for. Let I equals 0. I is less than. What's going to be less than? Inventory dot length.
And then semicolon I++.
Great. Yep, Tim kept us out of an infinite loop. Thank you, Tim. All right, so.
And I did a push here. Is that okay?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And in that case, you actually want to put this over this. So we're going to do if.
See, I did all that outside. I don't think I did it if on this one.
Okay. I might be overcomplicating this, but this is how I would do it. So dot includes is another array method that's looking to see if the string I'm giving it is in this array. And so like I'm going to give it the string inventory I dot, and what was it, make? Car make. Okay, so this inventory I dot car make is going to be a string, right? Either Ford, Honda.
I think it was model, wasn't it?
Oh, is it models that they want?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, models. Okay, same point, still a string. So let's look at real quick how this dot includes works.
I don't know that you need the dot includes at all, because they all have a model.
They all have a model. Oh, are all the models going to be unique in that case? I was using dot includes to prevent duplicate models.
No, and I'd say even if they are, then that's just a duplicate model in their car lot.
Yeah, okay. Let's do that. That makes it a lot easier.
I did the same thing when I did the assignment earlier. Then you find out in a question later on, it'll use this and you'll filter it further. So you want the duplicates right now.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Sorry about that, guys. So I was overcomplicating. We're just going to go ahead and do car models dot push, and we're going to push in that the string, which is going to be inventory I dot car models. Okay. Everyone good with this, or we got questions?
Can you just kind of go over the steps again in terms of why everything, like why the for loop is needed for
So
that specifically?
we started with this, right? Car models. It's an empty array. So it's an empty collection. We want to add to that collection all of the car models, right?
Yep.
Cool. So if I want to go through each piece of this list, that immediately tells me we're going to loop through it.
Okay. Yeah.
So I set up a loop by setting up this for loop. And I want it to run however many times that there are cars in that list. So I tell it, you go until you get to this number, like whatever it is, however many cars there are.
Yep.
So I have this array, and I'm going to push into it the car model that I find at this position in my list of inventory.
Okay.
And so let's run through it as if we are the computer, okay? I'm coming in. All right, I is equal to 0. Got it. Here I go. Car models, that's an empty array. You want me to push inventory 0 and the car model. Got it. Let me look what that is. It's a navigator. So I'm going to take that string navigator. Where'd I go? I'm going to take that string navigator and I'm going to put it right here in the array for you, just like you're asking.
Hey, Joe.
Yep.
The property for car models is actually car model.
Thank you. Okay, cool. Now I'm going to run through it a second time. So now this I++ tells me this is 1, not 0.
Gotcha.
So car models dot push. Oh, car models is this array now. And I'm going to push inventory 1 dot car model. Inventory 1 is this guy. And the car model is Miata MX-5. So I'm going to put that in the array. And it's just going to keep doing that.
Keep tallying up till you get to
until I get to inventory.length, which in this case
what is the full? Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Well, it's actually going to stop at 49 because it's less than that number.
How did you define the first car models? Because it's telling me that it's not defined. Like where you have car models dot push.
That makes sense.
Yeah, you have to make sure that this empty array is being initiated first. This is the empty array that they actually gave us. Make sure it's on top of your for loop. Cool. Let's ES6 this real quick. For loops are kind of old school. We don't really run them too much anymore. I mean, they still have their use cases for sure. But we can do the same thing in something called a map. And then a map is telling it to loop. And this inventory I thing, it just knows what that is. And so what is inventory I? Inventory I is a car, right? Like it's grabbing that object, like we just walked through this loop. So when you do a map, you just tell it, hey, when you do this, you're going to give me a car every time. And with that car, you guys recognize this now as like an arrow function. With that car, I want you to do car models dot push and push that car dot car model in there. And that's like, instead of writing a whole for loop, you could just write it like this.
You couldn't replace that with this?
Yeah, you could replace those 3 lines of code with this 1 line of code right here.
No. I mean, like literally this.
Oh,
models dot push.
Hey, Joe.
Yeah.
The map should be done on inventory rather than car models.
Inventory.
Car models equals inventory.map.
I'm sorry. That is true. Thank you. And then back to your question, Jules. you want to use this here.
Yeah.
So we don't use this in a map because we know that it's called car. Like I'm giving it that name. And the map is giving me like this right here, this inventory I. So it actually, I don't know what it would do, to be honest with you, but you just wouldn't in this case.
Because you're using an arrow function, this will apply to the window object, or I can't remember. It'll screw things up.
Yeah, it gets a little more complicated in the arrow functions. That is true.
So, Joe, we could shorten this a little bit more too.
Yeah.
If you're going to use map, just say car models equals inventory.map.
Yes.
And all you need to do is return car.carModel in the arrow function.
True. Yeah, that is true. So actually, technically, this would be a for each.
Yep.
And then it would have to be written like this. He's right. So map differs from for each. That map has a return value of a new array. And so, yeah, that is true, Bradley. Thank you. So let's put this one away for now. We'll keep our for loop. Like I said, we got to get down how these things work. Like under the hood, I haven't seen the code personally, but I'm sure map has a for loop in it. Like that's how it's written. So we'll get the for loops down, and then we'll come back to this ES6 stuff. All right, and then console.log. What are we going to console.log?
Car models, right?
Car models, but it wanted them alphabetically, remember?
Oh, okay. Yeah, so you want to do dot sort.
Perfect. And we're going to evoke that function, and let's check it out. We got a 300M, a 400 CS, Quattro. That's all one string, okay? The Q obviously is not up here. But check it out. 3, 4, 5, 6 A's, B, C, D. I think we did it.
Hey, mine says F sort native code.
Oh, what? Let me check it out.
Hold on, sorry. So on my console log, that's what it said.
Cars are older than the year 2000.
Oh, I don't think you evoked sort. Yeah. So see on line 81, after sort, you need to put empty parentheses.
How many?
Oh.
Yeah. Without the parentheses, you're literally telling it like, here's the. Oh, you got all Miatas too. Let's go check that out. What's going on?
I don't know.
You put a 1 inside of inventory. It should be the I.
Oh.
Yeah. There you go. Cool. Yeah, you're up now. Yeah. So that was a good example of why we evoke functions versus not evoking. So she didn't have the parentheses in there. And so it console logged literally the method. Like, this is the text that makes this method work. Here you go. That's what you wanted, right? But you're like, no, I wanted to actually do the thing. So you got to give it parentheses. And that tells it run the function and give me its return value. Cool.
Yeah, I remember they called it in a pre-course. They said you put the key in the car.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. Yeah, so we got our dot sort done. Notice too, I didn't save this sort anywhere. Like, we ran it and now it's gone again. Like if I console.log car models. Oh, I guess it does persist. Interesting.
Yeah. The sort function actually changes its source array.
Cool. That's another good example of something to check out. Let me see if I can. Oh, there it is. So when we look up methods, we need to look for things like this, in place. See, method sorts the element of array in place and returns the sorted array. So that means that it's being done and saved. I didn't think it did that. And so that's good to know. And the same is actually true for, like, we were talking about for each versus map. Map changes the things without you having to save it, and for each does not. And so that's why, like, for each is good if you're going to change something else, like we were going to use a dot push. But if you wanted to change the array itself, you do it with the map. But yeah, you guys all know about MDN, right? That's home base. We want to stay there as much as possible.
Quick question. I can't seem to see what's going on here. I'm trying that for loop out that you have. I appear to have the exact same code as you, but I'm getting an error for the closing bracket. Unexpected token. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let's look at your code real quick.
Can you pull yours back up real fast, actually?
Oh, sure.
Just make double sure it's identical.
Yeah.
Ah. Okay. No, I caught it.
All right, cool.
Okay, cool.
Sounds good. All right. So that was a good lesson. We learned about this. So we can actually do it like this. Get rid of this and just do that. And so now we ran that on there. It saves it and it prints. So for now on, when we call car models, it will be sorted. All right, challenge 4. The accounting team needs all the years from every car on the lot. Create a new array from the dealer data containing only the car years and log the result in the console. Okay, somebody who didn't really get it too much, this top one, why don't you walk me through it, because it's actually the exact same thing, but with years instead of model.
I'll take a crack at it.
Yeah, cool.
So we're going to be creating another for loop here. So they've already provided us with the open array car years. We're going to do for let I equal 0, semicolon I less than inventory dot length, semicolon I plus plus. And then we'll do our curly brace, next line, car years dot push. And then parenthesis inventory, and then square bracket I, close square bracket dot car underscore year. And then our semicolon, and then console log car years.
Perfect. I think that's gonna work. Let's give it a try. Yeah, there they all are. And they're not sorted, but it didn't really require us to sort them. So let's just because I have a little bit of OCD, we'll do it. Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, you nailed that. Thank you.
Would you actually do car years dot sort?
Why wouldn't you? What are you thinking?
I mean, it sounds fine to me.
Okay.
I don't like seeing the numbers out of order either.
Yeah, it just doesn't. It didn't require it, but yeah, you could totally just do dot sort. Dot sort works with numbers, and it works with strings.
Right.
The method dot sort works on arrays. I don't know how JavaScript would handle something like if you had 1964 is less than 300M. Like, I'm not 100% sure on that, but right now we're just dealing with arrays of numbers and array of strings, so it's okay. All right, car lot manager needs to find out how many cars are older than the year 2000. Using the car years array you just created, find out how many cars were made before the year 2000 by populating the array old cars and logging its length.
Okay,
so yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, would we pretty much loop through inventory length? I mean, inventory again, but specify, or would we loop through the new array that we made with car years?
Perfect. Yeah, we're gonna loop, and the loop is gonna be through car years. Yeah, which I mean is the same length as inventory, so it doesn't matter too much. But just so our code is specific, car years dot length. Sorry, brain farted for a second. And then I plus plus. Yeah, cool. So we're gonna loop through. Just so we're clear, this right here does not mean that we are looping through this array, right? It just gives us a number. Like that just evaluates to a number. It could be anything. Like I could use inventory.length and still loop through the car years. But it is nice to make sure that things are matching in case we do something later, like change car years. That way it only includes unique number of years, because then there will be fewer numbers than there are cars. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. So basically it's the same logic, right? Like we're going to have old cars, and we're going to push car years I, right?
But don't we want to find everything before 2000?
Exactly. So the logic is the same, but there's an additional component. We only want this logic to run if...
Right. If statement, yeah, if it's greater, less than 2000.
Exactly. If car years is less than 2000. Exactly right. So the logic's the same. We're just adding a gatekeeper to it. Does everyone see how it was the same thing? I just added the if statement in front of it. And then we can, it actually just wants the number of old cars, but let's print it first and check it out. So you see we had 50 cars, right, total, and now we only have 25, and look, it goes, because we sorted them, we're able to see it goes from 1964 to 1999.
So then you could, if they just want the number of old cars, you could do oldcars.length, and that will return the number of cars inside that array?
Exactly. And that's all they want is the 25. Yep. Everyone good?
Yeah, I think so far.
Yeah, next one's where I start having problems.
The buyer is interested in seeing only BMW and Audi cars within the inventory. Return an array that only contains BMW and Audi cars. Once you have populated the BMW and Audi array, use json.stringify to show the results of the array in the console. Okay, well, let's break this thing down. Logic is going to be the exact same as if we were doing it just based like all the makes or all the years, right? Like let's start there. So
I have one more small error somewhere.
Yeah, go ahead.
There's a red squiggly line underneath my parentheses after the year 2000.
Under this one? So this one's a parenthesis, and then this one's an open curly brace.
Yeah, underneath the parentheses.
Okay. Let me
look. Never mind.
You got it? All right.
Yeah.
So this one we're going to go through the whole inventory .length, and we're going to do I++. Okay. So step 1, we're going to loop over the entire inventory. Step 2, we only want BMW and Audis. We'll save step 2. Let's do step 3. If they are a BMW and Audi, we want to push it into that array BMW and Audi, right? Well, that's the exact same logic that we implemented before. BMW and Audi dot push and inventory.
Dot car model, right?
What was that?
Car model, right? Dot.
Is that what it wants? Car
model, right?
No, it just says the car.
I think it's make.
Oh, is it make?
It doesn't say either way. It just says you put the car, the whole car in if it's a BMW and Audi.
Oh, okay.
So the whole car is the object. So that's what we want to do. Now it pretty much explicitly tells you if, right?
Right.
Like return that only contains BMW and Audi. So we're going to do an if statement.
So it's going to be what if inventory equals BMW BMW and Audi.
If inventory dot, what is it? That's a model, right? Car model is equal to BMW, right? So right now, this should give me all of the BMWs. Car make, yeah, perfect. BM, and they have it all capital. Yeah, okay. Let's test that, because let's test our theory before we keep going with this logic, right? Console.log BMW and Audi. Oh, I got an empty array. Dot inventory I dot car model.
You need to use car make, not car model.
Oh, make. Thank you. I asked you guys. Nobody told me make.
If car make
Well,
or Audi.
All right. Now we have two of them. There they are. We got a BMW 525 and a BMW 6 Series. Now, if I wanted the Audis, I could just copy this whole code, do another if statement. These aren't connected. It's not like if, else if, right? They could be. We'll get to that in a second. And we could do...
You also do a conditional operator in one declaration, right?
Yep, we'll get there. Perfect. Yep, thank you. So if it's a BMW, no, it's not a BMW. If it's an Audi, oh yeah, it is an Audi. All right, push it. And there we go. We got a list of BMWs and Audis. And then, like he said, so we could actually connect them, else if, right? And then you can chain like an else on here and do nothing. So that's actually like not necessary. But if it's a BMW, nope. Is it an Audi? Nope. So they're just connected. That's the only difference here. And we should get the same results. 5 cars. Okay. And then like he was saying, we can actually take this piece in here and say, or, and do it like that. So if this thing is, if this thing, inventory I, this car, if its make is BMW, or if this is Audi, right? Then go ahead and push it. And so save it, and there it is. We got 5 cars again. BMWs, Audis. Anyone got any questions on this?
Yeah, when I do mine, it comes up, and I have Lincoln in mine, and I have Mazda. I have the exact same code.
Okay, let's look. Want to show your screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So you can't actually use or like that.
Oh no.
If you notice in my example, I had inventory I.carmake is equal to BMW. You have to write all that stuff again. Inventory I.carmake. And then when you're done, I'll show you why you got every single car.
Where'd it go?
Joe, when you get a chance, my console log isn't showing this array.
Oh, so now it does show the right cars.
Yep, perfect. Let me show you my screen real quick, and I'll talk you through that, and then Jules will help you out. So when we do inventory I dot car right is equal to BMW. What happens is inventory I dot car make gets evaluated in something. So the first one is Lincoln, right? So this actually becomes Lincoln is equal to BMW, right? Well, this triple equal sign compares the two. Obviously, they're not equal, and so it finally evaluates into false. Okay. When we do an OR statement, we're checking two different things at the same time. So if I have true or false, what does this in the parentheses evaluate to? True or false? I have true on one side and false on the other side, and they're separated in OR.
One or the other.
This evaluates into true. So if the left side is true and the right side is false, the whole thing is true because it's OR.
Okay.
So we had BMW or Audi. So as long as one of those is true, then run this code, right? You had on one side of the OR, you had Audi.
Right.
It doesn't matter what's in that string. A string always evaluates to true.
Okay.
And so you had inventory I.carMake is equal to BMW. Well, no, it's not. Lincoln does not equal BMW. But on the other side, you told me true.
Okay.
So I evaluate to true.
That makes sense.
Yeah. All right. And then there's the other one. You, instead of or, you can do and. So both things have to be true. So false and true evaluates to false altogether. And then what's tricky, though, is false and false is still false. And then true and true is true. Okay? So anyways, that's the explanation to why you got every single car is because Audi always. All right, Jules. What's up? Do you need to share your screen? You're on mute if you're trying to talk.
All right. Do you see my screen?
Nope. All right. Got it now.
So everything after, what do you call it, just stopped?
Is that something going on with the live thing?
I keep resetting. Go live. I know I got to be in HTML. Hold on a second.
It's okay. Click on the assignments folder. There you go.
Cute.
Okay. Is that all the stuff from the last file? Okay, so something must have broke. Go on down. Keep going down. My guess was that one of the for loops was an infinite loop, but it doesn't look like it. Go to the top where we first started coding, because that console.log's not even in there.
Okay, so this only happens if something breaks?
Yeah, I would think so. Like
check the index.html, see if you're loading both JavaScript files.
How do I do that? Sorry.
Yeah, click that.
You're only loading one file.
Good call. You see how line 11 and 12 are commented out?
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to put those back. Uncomment them. There you go.
How'd that happen?
I don't know. I didn't expect that. That's why I didn't go there first.
The function conversion
Mine's just
may
doing
not
the same thing.
need to be uncommented.
Mine is doing the same thing, but only mods is not that issue.
Okay. Jules, and then that error
my
is
bad.
just looks like a misspelling on line 83 in arrays, okay? You got inventory, should be inventory.
Oh, I didn't even see this file. The function conversion file. Totally skipped it.
All right. I could figure out the rest. Thank you.
All right, cool. You got it.
Appreciate it.
Asia, you want to share your screen? Oh, you got a Lambda shirt? What? I ordered one hella long ago. It still hasn't come in.
Okay, so yeah, I have an error too, but
syntax error on array line 114.
yeah,
So
mine's not. The other stuff is not coming up either.
click on array.js and go down to line 114, which is the last line. Oh, it looks like you are missing a closing curly brace. So the if statement should have an opening curly brace and then a closing one under the dot push. And then the for loop also needs a closing one. So add another
There's one
closing
here.
one. Yeah, it needs another one for. There you go.
Fixed.
We're back.
Thanks.
No problem. All right. So that was it, right? We're done?
I think we were supposed to use
JSON.stringify.
Yeah.
I just had a quick question.
Yeah.
For some reason, when I try to like console log it, it's not like consoling out the array. I'll share my screen real quick. But, see, like right here, it's not like putting out the array. It's just doing this.
That means the array that you're consoling is empty.
Yeah.
Really, like for this right here, I don't think I did it wrong, but maybe I did.
BMW and Audi dot push. That says inventory I, right? That's an I in there?
Yeah.
Is it, it's car.make, or it's car_make, not model.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, somebody else had to fix that for me too.
If you highlight the word and press F2, you can rename it.
Oh, okay.
It'll change all the instances. You want to be careful with that one, but it's a nice little tool.
All right, back in business.
Awesome, thanks.
All right, anyone else? We're just gonna do this JSON.stringify thing.
Oh, that one was trippy. I actually had to look that one up.
Do you know what F2 is on a Mac?
I don't know the command for that one.
It's just FN. It's just the function key. So FN key plus the, I guess right now is the brighting your screen button. So that's F2. So you have to press FN and F2.
Thank you. JSON.stringify. So JSON is another coding language, kind of. And it's how you send information from a server to a client. So it's very relevant. The specifics of it aren't important now for you guys, but just know in the future, whenever you are building out data and like databases, and you have a React app that needs all the users for something, that gets sent online from the server to the client, and it gets sent as a JSON object. And then the JSON object needs to get parsed by the client into JavaScript. And it's really handy because I can make a Ruby on Rails backend in Ruby language, send things in JSON objects to a React front end, and then it get decoded into JavaScript. So
say that again. You could do what with React?
So you can, from Ruby, you can send it as JSON, and then the front end, your React can take that JSON and then make it into JavaScript. So it's just like the middleman between a backend or a server and a client. So that's why they're introducing it. It looks really familiar. JSON objects look just like JavaScript objects. It'll be like this. The only thing with JSON objects is they're kind of picky about white spacing, so you have to watch that. But everything is in quotes. So you do like name, and then like, I don't know, Bob. And then if you wanted like age, it's got to be in quotes. That's all. Okay? even actually numbers don't have to be in quotes. So and then they're also picky about. Remember, I told you to put that extra comma so you don't make that mistake. Can't do that with a JSON object. It has to not have the comma at the end. But that's it. It's going to look really familiar. You just got to realize that that's JSON. So JSON.stringify is one of the things that we use to change our data into JSON to send from one end to the other. So we'll use MDN. W3 Schools is actually really handy. I like them a lot, sometimes more than MDN, because they give more examples, and then you can open up like little demos. Sometimes they have that too here. This is how you use it. You just do JSON.stringify, and then it takes in an object, and it returns to you. Notice the object itself is even in quotes. Like it's one big string. That's how JSON works. It looks like it takes arrays as well. It doesn't like things like undefined. It doesn't like empty functions, stuff like that. This is a date object. Those are pretty universal across languages. So that's how we use it, JSON.stringify, and then put it in.
So we're still working in the array.js file?
Yeah, This is array.js line 109. The last step was to, once you have populated the array, use JSON.stringify to show the results of the array in the console. So we're in console.log JSON.stringify BMW and Audi. So we'll save that. And there it is. Just nothing too special.
It's the array.
I'm sorry?
Oh, I was just repeating just the array itself. And okay.
And you can notice too, like ID, they put that into quotes, even though I don't think it's in quotes up here. Oh, it is.
Yeah.
So like in JavaScript, like this doesn't actually have to be in quotes. Like you can do it. Oops. You can do it like that, and that's perfectly fine. That's called a key versus a string. But JSON.stringify would turn that into a string, anyways. So I just wanted to point that out. But yeah, this is going to be something that you're going to see a lot. Like we use this tool called Postman. You guys will learn about this later. But Postman is the only time that you'll ever write like your own JSON objects, and it'll be to like test your own servers. So if you create a back end that allows you to like create a blog post, it's called a post. So you're going to send an HTTP request post, and you're going to send it a JSON object, and that's going to be the only time you ever use the manually use JSON. All right. Anyone want any more explanation on that, or are we good? I don't want to go too deep and mess with you guys.
Good for that one.
Huh?
I said good for that one. The function conversions were like converting to arrow functions. Arrow functions is still a little iffy for me.
Yeah, cool. Let's go for it.
And when you're done with that, I got in a little late, so I could use an explanation of including functions on objects.
Okay, got it. So we'll go tackle this one because we got like 10 minutes maybe to do this, and then we'll I can get back afterwards and we can talk about anything else you guys need to.
For sure.
So take out the comment ES5 syntax and convert it to ES6 arrow syntax. So basically just going to copy it the way it is, which is let my function equal. And you know what? Actually, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and just copy the whole thing. And delete the okay. So with an arrow function, all you're going to do syntax-wise is delete the word function. So remember when it says function, we can give it like the X and the Y, remember, in here? That's the same exact thing. Like that's where the arguments go. And we're just going to put it over there and put an arrow. And that's all. That's an arrow function. Function was invoked.
Now you could go one step further and get rid of the curly brackets too, right?
You could and put it all on one line, definitely. If it's multiple lines, I like to leave those, but yeah, you could definitely do it like that too. Functional is invoked. Any questions on that?
You revert back to the one the original?
The original one's right up here in the comments.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Sorry.
No problem. Someone want to take a shot at this next one?
Me.
All right. Let me get it copied over for you, and then we'll do it. That's everything. All right, cool. What should I do?
Wait, you skipped one, I think.
This one here?
Yeah, isn't there one?
Yeah, I just copied and pasted it. It's right here. Same one.
Oh, okay.
We're just going to convert it to arrow.
You just delete the word function.
Uh-huh.
And then after you delete that, you put equals and then greater than after param.
Yeah. That's pretty much it, right? There's a little bit more we can do to this. This works as is. Function param, another function example.
Get rid of the return, right?
Oh, sorry. We should do a console.log here. There we go. So it says example. Yeah, we can get rid of the return in this case. So first, since there's only one param, you can actually delete these parentheses just to clean it up a little, and it still works. Yeah, you can put it all on one line. Before I put it all on one line, we talked about this a little bit earlier. We can delete the word return and change these curlies into parentheses. And save that. And it still runs. Oh, yeah, remember it doesn't like the semicolon in there. I mentioned that too earlier. And there it is again, example. And then last thing we can do to clean this up is we can actually get rid of that altogether and put it all on one line. Yep, and there it is, example.
So do you take away the parentheses too?
Yeah, you could leave them. Like, it doesn't matter if it's on one line. You just don't need them when it's on one line.
Oh, cool. Oh, cool. That's pretty easy.
Yeah, so let's do this one. Is there going to be any examples with this in there? Because that's going to mess me up.
I don't think so.
Yeah, all right.
No, it was all pretty straightforward.
I mean, it's the one with the array, but that's it.
All right. Does someone want to do this one? It's got two params now. It's not much different, to be honest. The only thing that we cannot do on this one is you have to leave
take away parentheses
around the params, yeah. But we could totally do this. Get rid of all this. Get rid of the return and put it all on one line. And then we can console.log it. What's 1 + 2? No, I'm just kidding. All right. And then subtract's going to be the same exact thing. Probably not even worth doing, but just for the sake of completion. I wish I used VS Code more, because then I could use that thing where you just uncomment. So I would have it set up.
You didn't have to set anything up.
No?
No.
I just tried Command/. It didn't work.
Yeah, it should work.
I've been doing it.
You don't need to hide. You don't. Well, if you're doing multiple lines, yeah.
What the heck? Now it's working? Literally just tried it and it didn't work.
It's because we're all looking at it.
That's annoying. All right, cool.
Typically,
Yeah.
Yep.
Huh?
What do you typically use if you don't use VS Code?
I use Vim.
Ah, yeah. Yeah.
We'll call it that other one.
Yeah, there you go. The one that shall not be named.
Really throw some people off.
I was telling them at the beginning, like, that I was going to do it, but I just didn't want to, like, confuse anybody, so I decided not to. All right, yeah, there you go. The commenting worked. All right, let's see. What was so tricky about this one? Example array equals 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice too that they kind of messed up and set it up as a global variable.
Oh, I didn't even catch that.
Const triple equals example array dot map function return. Okay, yeah, let's do it. Let's ignore is like this map and all this stuff before. Let's just go back to what we were doing. Like, let's take this function and somebody walk me through this. How do we do this?
Delete the word function.
Delete the word function. What else?
You put the arrow after num.
The arrow. All right, now let's go put it back where it was. There we go. Now, what else can we keep doing? Let's clean it up.
Can we get rid of const triple?
Const triple. No, we want to keep that one because they console log it after.
You delete the parentheses around num.
Yeah, we could do that because we only got one parameter. Yep, we can put it all in one line. So let's do that. Do all of this like that. Yeah. Anyone got any questions about that? 3, 6, 9, 12 looks good to me. And remember,
I love arrow functions. They're so cool.
Just take away the other.
So much easier to read.
What was that?
Easy to read, but
I was just making sure that all of the parentheses and stuff.
So the only parentheses we need is for this map. And remember, Bradley pointed this out earlier, actually. So what we're actually doing here, this const triple, is saving what .map returns. .map is going through this array and doing something to it and creating a whole new array behind the scenes. So it's taking this array, example array 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's going one at a time. All right, number 1, 1 times 3 is 3. That's going to be my first element. 2 times 3 is 6. That's my second element. And it does that, and it returns the new array. And then we are capturing that new array in this thing called triple, and we're console logging triple. What I'm interested in is, I mentioned Ruby earlier. Ruby also has a for each and a map. The map changes the original array as well. So let's see if JavaScript does that. I'm not 100% sure.
What I did was I got rid of the triple, and I just did console log example array.
Yeah, you can totally do that too. Yeah, so it does not. It leaves it the same. Yep, cool. Yeah, you could do it that way too. Because what is triple? Triple is just a pointer that is pointing to this thing. Like, it's literally a placeholder for this, right? Yep. All right, we finished it just in the nick of time.
Awesome.
Any extra questions that we can answer in 2 minutes? No, I'm just kidding. we can wait a little longer if we need to. If someone has a question about the assignment.
Well, how soon are you going to put up this recording?
Huh?
How soon are you going to put up the recording?
I'm going to upload it to YouTube, and then as soon as that's done, I'll get it on there, and then it'll have a link with the GitHub code and this, so the solution code will be in there.
Appreciate it. You're doing that tonight?
I'll get it done tonight, yeah. So you should have it first thing tomorrow.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, no problem. If that's it, then let's get out of here and get to our PM groups. You guys can always message me if you got anything else.
All right,
thank you.
Joe.
All right.
Thank you.
What's up? One last question. Is Jason